Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today, we're going to talk about Cardano and its native token ADA. We have a pulse. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and go stake your ADA with the ITC3 stake pool. As I mentioned before, those that are staked with ITC, ITC2, and ITC3 should be able to take part in the Sunday Swap ISO coming up here shortly. Okay, so make sure you go stake your ADA, earn rewards, and then when the Sunday Swap, when they do their initial small distribution to people participating in the ISO, you can also grab some for yourself. So go stake, earn rewards, staking.intothecryptoverse.com/Cardano. It'll tell you how to do that. Let's go ahead and jump in. So Cardano has had a pretty brutal few months, right? I mean, ever since the launch of smart contracts, more or less, ADA has been bleeding against the US dollar, and it hasn't been a very fun ride. We did suggest, though, that after the launch of smart contracts, there would be this phase for ADA, and that it really makes a lot of sense in the sense that a lot of people are kind of waiting for smart contracts. Once they're here, then you actually have to build. And a lot of people are just speculators, right? A lot of people just dubiously speculate, not unlike myself. And there's some more riding the wave than actually utilizing a lot of these platforms. But the point is to say that you have to give it time, right? You have to give these platforms time. Obviously, we've followed Cardano for years, ever since it was 2 cents. You know, we knew there was going to be some type of a lull after the launch of smart contracts, and we've seen that. With that said, I mean, no, don't, you know, I think it's easy to certainly get excited about relatively small price movements in the market, right? So I assure you, no one, and I mean no one, is getting out of bed for a $1.72 ADA. No one, right? I mean, there's no reason to. ADA's up 11% on the day, but so what? I found a quarter as well. The point is to say, ADA has a lot of work to do, right? I mean, if this is the definition of a good investment in the short term, and this is all it does, then okay, no, we still have to see it go a ways, and certainly getting to $1.70 or something is not the definition of what we want to see. The work we have to do is first we need to get back above the bull market support band, okay? And if you look, it's all the way up at 194 to 205. 194 to 205. So that, it's like there's a pulse, right? There's a pulse. We're like, all right, let's doing something, but we've still got a long way to go, my friends. So let's see if we can get back above the bull market support band. One of the things I had previously said back in September was that we're going to see this lull after the launch of smart contracts, and that I would envision that we should be able to see a move back up to the upside sometime between mid-November and late March. Okay, and I don't know if that's going to happen today, if it's going to happen 2 months from now. I mean, I guess I don't actually know it's going to happen at all, but that is sort of what I'm envisioning for ADA after this pretty significant pullback in the price. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to talk about the RSI a little bit here for a minute, because it's gotten to some pretty low levels, right? I mean, the last time we went to an RSI this low was actually all the way back in this is on the daily time frame, by the way. So the last time it was this low, before the spike, I mean, we're talking about the pandemic drop, right? I mean, that's just how bad it's bled. I mean, it's not like the drop was quite as quick, but it was just a slow bleed over a longer period of time. So you can see the daily RSI for ADA, if we just sort of draw a line, it's been getting absolutely hammered, right? Absolutely hammered. If you go look at say, the 3-day, it is also been getting absolutely hammered. And the 3-day is not technically in oversold territory yet, because that would be getting below 30. But you can see that we were at this level back in September. So we were at this level right here as well. We went a little bit lower than this level back in March of 2020. And then before that, the last time we were at these levels was actually in the end of the bear market. So looking at the weekly RSI, all right, The last time we were at these levels was back in April of 2020. So I just want to show people that it has been a while since ADA was this, it's not technically oversold on say the weekly time frame, but certainly on some of the shorter time frames it was getting fairly oversold. Now, the point though is, we're better than that in terms of measuring it just against the US dollar. If you only ever measure things against the US dollar, congratulations if you're able to outperform the US dollar. With inflation and whatnot, you really want to see your portfolio outperform. Not just the US dollar, but altcoins, you want to see them outperform Bitcoin and Ethereum. We spent a lot of time talking about oscillators and bleeders and everything, and so we have to constantly monitor what are these coins doing against Bitcoin and Ethereum. Are they oscillators? Are they not? And against Bitcoin, you can see that it's at the very least, it's an oscillator, right? At the very least, this is, these are the prior levels that it has been at, okay? So we can sort of draw some type of window here where historically ADA has found support at the bottom, but also where we get a little bit too far extended in the short term and we've gotten rejected, okay? So we still want to see ADA Bitcoin turn around. Now, I should say that if Bitcoin sort of picks up the pace at some point and goes into like a several month price discovery window, a lot of times you would sometimes expect ADA to bleed against Bitcoin during that time. It's very similar, in fact, to the period from July of 2020 until December 21st, is what I mean. So if you can imagine at some point in the future, later on this market cycle, Bitcoin, I'm thinking, is going to go on a several month rally, okay? And during that time, there's a high probability that a lot of altcoins will bleed against Bitcoin. Whenever that happens, okay? We don't know exactly when it's going to happen, but whenever that happens, there's a high probability that a lot of altcoins will bleed against Bitcoin. Now, you think back to July 2020 to December 2020, and you don't think of it as a bad time for ADA, really. Here's July's right here, and then December is over here. So it's not like ADA had some catastrophic drop or anything. It's just that during that same period of time, Bitcoin was more or less going parabolic. So we understand that if Bitcoin goes parabolic, most altcoins just simply aren't going to keep up. Okay, it's crypto 101. So looking at the ADA Bitcoin valuation, we can look at these levels and say, wow, it's definitely finished that uptrend that it was on. I make no mistake about that. The uptrend that we previously observed, anyways. We're no longer bouncing off of it, right? We're no longer bouncing off this uptrend. We tried to, but then we ultimately fell below. But that doesn't mean that the cycle is done. It doesn't mean that ADA doesn't have a long way to go. I do think it has a ways to go. Looking at the USD valuation, I think the main thing is getting back above the 20-week, because it's easy to get excited about these short-term price movements, but until we get back above here and develop some support, it's hard to get overly excited. So, give me a $2 ADA, and then we can talk a little bit more. But even then, we still got a lot of work to do just to get to an all-time high. Keep in mind, ADA is below its bull market support band. Bitcoin's above its own bull market support band. Ethereum is above its bull market support band. Okay? Polkadot, above its bull market support band. So right now, it's below it. And this is the issue, right? We need to see it get back above. And that's why I'm saying no one's getting out of bed for a $1.72 ADA when we still have a lot of work to do. All right, we need to get back above those levels in order to develop more confidence in the market. Now, the ADA Ether valuation is an interesting one because you can see it's this long-term oscillator. Now, we looked at this level not too long ago in the recent video because there was a fairly decent amount of support for ADA ETH in this area. So let's see what happens in this area, if we can get a bounce off of it or not. If we end up bleeding back down to this level, then I would actually consider that a huge opportunity, but I'm not really counting on that to happen. So anyways, I just want to remind people, there are signs of life, right? We do have a pulse, at least. We still have a long way to go. ADA still has a long way to go. Obviously, we're not here just to see a $1.72 ADA and call it a day. Let's see what ADA can do. Remember, go earn rewards on your ADA if you're not doing so. ITC3. You can also do ITC and ITC2, but those are getting pretty close to saturation. So if you want to participate in the Sunday Swap ISO, make sure you go stake your ADA relatively soon. Thank you guys for tuning in. Subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. Bye.